मंदिर का निर्माण हुआ है। प्रधानमंत्री
I think this has been a very good touch, all faith prayer meeting at the inaugural. And the overall signal, it is redefining secularism. If you can do it visually, today it has redefined secularism in today's context under this government. And that is, the dominant Havan and the Sengol and all, it is a Hindu nation which respects all religions. That is the message that's coming across. Another banner that you had is very interesting. Another tryst with destiny moment. And again I ask myself, is India today making another tryst with destiny, and what is that tryst? And I would say that every Indian child should be healthy and educated. That is the goal to move to today.
Okay. In fact, the Prime Minister is also going to lay out the vision for the country going forward. Celebrating the fact that India is a multicultural land, the all-faith prayer that has just concluded. Now, the dignitaries are also being given a tour of the new Parliament building. I also want to introduce Dushyant Sridhar, Vedic scholar, who's joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Dushyant Sridhar, we just saw the conclusion of the all-faith prayer. Very, very significant because of questions that had been raised on the puja that was being conducted in the new Parliament building. But as we've been mentioning, this is a Parliament building for New India. It espouses the cause of every Indian, and that's the reason why this was so significant to have a celebration of all religions.
True. Namaskaram to all the viewers of Times Now channel and all the citizens. It is a momentous occasion for a variety of reasons. An answer to your question is, this is a civilization that has had its own culture. It has had its own identity. Yet, we absolutely honor, respect, tolerate, and mutually respect every religion. They could be Western religions, they could be religions that may not believe. All of them are respected, and this is a beautiful signal sent to the Astikas, the citizens across the country, that though this may be a Hindu majority country, we still honor you. We still respect you. It's very rare because, imagine the Parliament building being in any other democracy. I'm sure, I don't think we may. I'm not saying we will. We may not come across an all-faith prayer at all, but this is a beautiful occasion. I'm very proud of the civilization that all of us belong to. It is our proud moment, absolutely no doubt.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, the controversy that we were discussing has already begun. Udit Raj putting out a tweet saying that today is the inauguration of the new Parliament building that will begin with chanting of Adinam, much seers and other rituals where Shankaracharya and priests have in other religions like Buddhism, Islam, Sikhism, Jainism and other sects have been excluded. RSS succeeds. That's the criticism coming in. And in fact, perhaps this is a criticism that at some level or the other, those who had planned, those who had organized this particular event had perhaps envisaged, and very clearly an all-faith prayer that took place a short while earlier also being very significant. If I can quickly, in fact, bring this point back to Mr. R. Rajgopalan. Mr. Rajgopalan, of course, there will be a lot of political controversy about it, but take us through the history of the Sengol itself. Are there similar symbols in other parliaments globally where certain parliaments, for instance, have a ceremonial mace? What is the idea behind it, and does that at some level or the other take away from the criticism that it is an authoritarian symbol or a symbol of monarchy that some opposition leaders have been expressing?
There is no monarchy. Even last month when we witnessed the incarnation of the Prince of United Kingdom, there was holy water sprinkled by the fathers. So therefore in every country it differs. There is a common factor to that the Sengol type of Dharma Danda, as they say, is a very important one. Every country has it, Madhav. At least from my understanding, Prime Minister brought it back from the Allahabad Museum so that it gets, apart from that main instinct is, it drives away the evil forces, that black magic things. So therefore that is why that puja was performed. Sengol, in every Adinam it is kept Sengol. So today when Mr. Nehru bought it, got it from Dharmapur Adinam in 1947, in 2023 Mr. Narendra Modi is getting it. It is prevalent in UK, it is prevalent in USA, It is prevalent in other parts of the world. Therefore, Prime Minister Narendra Modi introduced it in India also from today. So therefore, for future generations, this prosperity, for future generations, this will be an example and an icon.
All right. And in fact, Jairam Ramesh of the Congress has tweeted, I'm just going to read out that tweet before I take this question across to Neerja Chaudhary. He has said that on this day, May 28th, 1, Nehru, the person who did the most to nurture parliamentary democracy in India, was cremated in 1964. Savarkar, the person whose ideological ecosystem led to the killing of Mahatma Gandhi, was born in 1883. The president, the first Adivasi to become the president, is not allowed to fulfill her constitutional duties and inaugurate the new parliament building in 2023. 4, a self-glorifying authoritarian prime minister with utter disdain for parliamentary procedure who rarely attends parliament or engages in it inaugurates the new parliament building in 2023. And 5th, fabrications of facts by historians, drumbeating of media hits new lows in 2023. Neerja Chaudhary, you know, the fact is that while we were discussing a short while earlier, the fact that opposition is not going to be attending today's ceremony is perhaps unfortunate. But the point is that this is a political point that it seems the opposition, particularly the Congress, is going to continue on, perhaps even after this particular ceremony. They are certainly not seeming to in any way acknowledge the importance that the BJP at least attaches with the Sengol and this entire ceremony.
Look, the Congress and the other opposition parties have a right to their views, and they have a right to express them vigorously, strongly. That's what they're there for. If everybody agrees with everything, then you know, what kind of a democracy are you going to have? And even though I feel that they should have, despite all their strong differences, at this particular moment, when a new parliament built in independent India, not in the colonial times, is taking shape, they should have been here. For all their differences, and tonight they could have continued with their differences, tomorrow, day after, all that absolutely legitimate. But that apart, even they're staying away, you know, this whole divergence of views, the contention, the cacophony of the differences, all that is also part of our marvelous, vibrant democracy. You know, it has many fault lines, but we are all very proud of it. And I hope those fault lines are going to be addressed, because that, you know, what it shows today is the deepening contention and bitterness in our parliamentary functioning, and that is not good. I hope steps will be taken in the coming hours and days to address that.
Okay. Mr. Rajgopal wanted to respond to this.
My feeling is, after Jairam Ramesh tweet, I could feel that in 2023 there are going to be 2 sessions, Madhav. One is monsoon, another is winter.
Winter session.
I don't think that Congress is going to attend this function. That indicates from Mr. Jairam Ramesh tweet. Therefore, they will boycott, because 24, when you enter, the budget session will not be there. It's only a note on account. Therefore, it remains only 2 sessions. In these 2 sessions, Congress koi bagana bana karke boycott karega. They don't want to come into that one because Rahul Gandhi is disqualified.
Okay, and they have a right to protest and express their views, you know, as Neerja Chaudhary was saying, and very significant in fact that we're seeing the tour of parliament that is currently underway. We understand also in a short while from now there would be a ceremony inside the central hall, and one of the important aspects that we've been discussing, Pratibha, as well, is the role of Savarkar. Let me take in bring in fact Rahul Ishwar on that point. Rahul Ishwar, we are seeing how the Congress has made a very important point on the fact that this is the birth anniversary of Savarkar, and while of course there is a ceremony in Central Hall to you know, honor Savarkar, Rahul Ishwar, that's something that the Congress very clearly is opposed to.
Madhavji, one can have a nuanced point of difference with Veer Savarkar, but Veer Savarkar spent 4,000 days in jail for you and me and for this nation. How can we discount the great patriotic attitude that Savarkarji had? And even Mahatma Gandhi respected Savarkar. They might have differed on so many things, but Mahatma Gandhi had deep respect for Savarkar. Indira Gandhi had deep respect for Savarkar. So right now, Savarkar becoming a hate figure is a very absolute thing our left liberals or center-left seculars are doing. And right now, Modi ji also showed a very important thing. We have moved from the Nehruvian secularism to a Gandhian secularism. Secularism always had 2 strands. Gandhian secularism is always pluralistic, inclusive, respectful of religions. Mahatma Gandhi used to do such Sarv-dharma prayers, and he used to chant various hymns from various religious texts. This was India's idea, from time immemorial. It was not only a Gandhi's idea, it was India's idea for the past many centuries or past thousands of years. But when, after Nehruji, with due respect to Pandit Nehru, Nehruji's secularism was more of a religion denying, faith denying kind of a secularism, which our left liberals, communist parties all adopted. Right now, India is going back to the civilizational glory of pluralism, which is essentially Gandhian secularism. So that's a great political statement, and we should all be accepting Gandhian secularism or pluralism rather than a very narrow definition of Nehruvian secularism. Second, Veera Savarkar himself was a so-called atheist in the modern terminology, but Veera Savarkar did great contribution to Hindu causes. He, beyond casteism and 4,000 days in jail for you and me. You may have 1 or 2 points of differences. For example, the so-called Nepal connection or the idea that more Hindu kings need to be united. You can debate, especially the left liberals can debate with Savarkar. But how can you discount the great sacrifice he did for our entire nation? How can you discount the great patriotism that he had? And what is the whole idea of untouchability towards Savarkar? This is a very narrow kind of thing, with due respect to Rahul Gandhi is doing. Rahul Gandhi is simply trying to play for a gallery, saying that I am not Rahul Savarkar. And that is very, very, very immature in one sense, very unfortunate. It's something very playing for gallery. But rather than you should be a statesman like Indira Gandhi or a stateswoman like Indira Gandhi or Lal Bahadur Shastri in accepting diversity of political opinion in India and uniting them for a larger cause. And that's very important. I hope the present parliament will bring together all these things, and the opposition should leave apart their idea. And Jairam Ramesh, even though very well respected, his tweet is in a very narrow sense, smacks of some kind of bad blood, and that is very unfortunate. I hope opposition really rethinks on their position.
Well, I think, Madhav, it's a bit too late for the opposition to be rethinking that position. It's unfortunate, though. It's really unfortunate. I understand that there is a need to rebuild a parliamentary ethos. There is a need to perhaps bridge the divide. But a day like this, rich and replete in symbolism, was perhaps not the day to register a protest. We're going to try and go back to our reporters also. But viewers, what a day it has been. And Madhav, how privileged we all are, this generation specifically, to be witnessing a new tryst with destiny. The last time, of course, something like this, on this scale and obvious importance, was 1947, the midnight hours. We weren't there, but now a whole new generation is witnessing this.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, we all know what happened a few hours before that Tryst with Destiny speech. And perhaps the Sengol and the symbolism linked to that particular episode is what is sought to be once again, revived and celebrated with the Prime Minister. And look at that image of the Prime Minister, virtually Sashtang, prostrating before the Sengol, before all the Adhinams who are gathered over there. I think this is perhaps the most important image, the single most important image apart from the Prime Minister and the Speaker.
Because it's being rededicated back to the nation, and it's replete with India's Indic values. Remember, viewers, the first parliament, the parliament that we have just transitioned out of, was built by 2 British architects, and it did incorporate a large number of Indic detailing. But the fact is, it was not built in a free India. And today, in our 75th year, which is the year of the Amrit Kal, we hope that this is going to turn a page and a chapter. The Prime Minister has been tweeting and talking, but I think Dushyant Sridhar is raising his hand. Dushyant Sridhar, just talk us through what we are seeing. The sacred symbol, Sengol being a symbol, and Sengol being dedicated to the nation by the Prime Minister. How do you see this?
So, namaskaram, Rahul, after a long time, to my fellow panelists as well. Very momentous occasion. 2 quick points that I would like to mention through you to all the viewers of Times Now. One, this Sengol, which is semi-kol, which reminds the person who's administering of impartial justice, justice for all, equality for all, has been there in the Indic civilization, the Vedic civilization, for a very long time. That said, though there are many, many references to it in the Tamil literature, in the other form of literature as well, there's one doubt that comes in the minds of people whether it's specific only to the Vedic civilization. Though it is there and prevalent in the Vedic civilization, I would like to remind that in The Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare invokes the mercy that droppeth from the heaven with the scepter in the hand, he says. So the concept of scepter was there in the West as well. So it is there in the Vedic civilization, but it was there in the other civilizations too. One. Second point, we just saw after the all-faith prayer today, we saw some of the rituals performed with fire. See, Rahul, today in India, yes, Hinduism is a majority religion. But one of the minorities of the minority religions is the Parsi religion. If you look at the fire ritual, the beauty is fire is worshipped by both the Hindus and the Parsis. And the beauty is, Modi ji, yes, he follows the Hinduism. But the Tata group, which has constructed this beautiful building, he was a Parsi. So in a way, the fire rituals also bring the rituals together. So be it the Sengol, which is a scepter, or be it the fire, it also brings religions together. So it should not be seen in specific as promoting only one religion. This civilization has never been so megalomaniac about promoting only one religion. It just says that respect the civilization of the land. We too respect yours. This is such a beautiful feeling.
Well, the all-inclusiveness of this ceremony was apparent, and we're going to show you those pictures also, viewers of the all-faith prayer. And this was true. I mean, you were witnessing this when the foundation stone.
Absolutely. I was there, and there was a similar ceremony that was held, perhaps not on this scale, Rahul, but yes, there was a Havan. There were, in fact, priests from the Sringeri Mutt who had been brought in. And, you know, the larger messaging, we were just discussing a short while earlier with Mr. Rajgopalan as well. When you have Sringeri Mutt from Karnataka, when you have the Adinams from Tamil Nadu, when you have the Prime Minister engaging in this, there is also a very deeper messaging that is being done as far as the BJP reaching out to the south and being seen as respecting the traditions of the southern part of the country. And in fact, I want to just quickly bring in Dushyant Sridhar on that point as well, because Dushyant Sridhar, while addressing the Adinams yesterday, the Prime Minister referred to the historical ties between Kashi and Tamil Nadu, between Tamil Nadu and other parts of North India, which have been very historic. And the Prime Minister referring to that in the context of what's happening today is quite significant.
Very true. Very true. To your viewers, I would just like to inform two small important pieces of information. One, when we talk about the Sengol, Sengol was prevalent in many kingdoms. It was openly prevalent in the Pandyan kingdom, in the Chola kingdom, in the Pallava kingdom. But why was this taken? The context is taken with the Chola kingdom. There's an inner reference to it. One, here we talk about the Chola region, which is to the north and the south of the Kaveri river. And the Adinam comes from that particular region, Tiruvavadurai. That is the place, and they come from the Chola region. Cholas, in many of their inscriptions, they invoke the name of Rama and say we are descendants of Rama. So the beauty is when they say that we are the descendants of Rama, they are associating themselves with Ayodhya too. So if Ayodhya is associated with the Cholas, that means the concept of scepter, which is the Sengol, also bridges the north and south of India. It is not specific only to the south.
Right.
We are one country and these two parts of the country. So it's Ganga, Kaveri, which is linked. So we are talking about interlinking of rivers. It's such a beautiful melange and a potpourri of such beautiful cultures. So we are all one nation, one continent, one geography. So it's a beautiful occasion. Sengol links both the north and south.
Well, this is an important point that you have made, that there is nothing exclusivist about this entire ceremony. You can see the all-faith prayers. We will split the screen and we'll also show you the moment when the priest from the Adhinam, Mr. Rajagopalan, came into the parliament, blessed the parliament, so to speak. The Prime Minister was, of course, walking amongst them. Many people have talked about how perhaps through the back door we are seeing the injection of some sort of a Hindutva. How do you address those concerns that are being expressed today?
Today, when Prime Minister walked into the the Lok Sabha, new Lok Sabha, he was preceded by Thevar, Oduars, and also they chanted Mathirupugal, Manikavachakar, Appar, like that. What Prime Minister Narendra Modi mentioned yesterday in the speech. So therefore, today is a very significant day. My understanding of that is, when you ask me, it is BJP's outreach for South India. Madhav asked me about it. It is BJP's decision in Hyderabad General Council meeting to reach out south, as they did it in 2014, to reach out east. So 2029, The 2019 they reached out to South. So therefore they are going to pan-India party. That is the reason why these Dharmapura Adinams are all brought to Delhi. Sengol is given importance, and precedent to that, Prime Minister organized a Kashi Tamil Sangamam in his constituency last year. So therefore, these are all one line of approach of Prime Minister to outreach Tamil Nadu. The reaching out of Tamil Nadu is more important for him.
I want to bring you in on this. A large number of opposition parties, at least 20 of them, I think, at last count, deciding to boycott, but an equally large number are also participating. Now, how is this playing out between the opposition? Clearly, the opposition is quite divided over this.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, we've seen several opposition parties, about 7 or 8 of them, breaking ranks with the other opposition parties. So the questions are there on opposition unity, which in fact was the idea behind this entire boycott in the first place. We saw 19 parties write that letter, and later about 2 or 3 more parties. So I think the total count is at around 21 in terms of the total number of parties that are boycotting this event. The total number of parties attending is 25.
This is very interesting, because you're obviously trying to tell us that even the attempt at trying to suggest that there was within the opposition large-scale unhappiness with the manner in which the government has conducted itself, even that point is not being established today.
Because look at the allies. See, look at TDP and SAD.
Amit Shah appealed yesterday after the boycott call. Why did not the opposition pay heed to that?
Okay, we'll bring in Neerja Chaudhary, but you were making a point.
Because even the two allies who were upset and walked out of the NDA, the TDP and the SAD, today even they are attending this particular event. So they say that, yes, whatever one believes about the entire opposition, this is a grand building, it's a magnificent building, and something that he himself along with other parliamentarians has discussed the need of, because the old parliament may have served us well, but there was certainly need for a modern building, is what Omar Abdullah said.
That's important. I mean, in an occasion like this, one needs to sort of rise above, I think, I mean, it's my opinion, partisanship, but we can obviously put that out. Viewers, we've opened our platform to you as we always do.